right.
Hey everyone, thank you so much for coming to Birth Your Vision podcast live. And I'm your host, Hannah Kupuli. It's a real pleasure to have you here today. And I want to say thank you so much to all our wonderful viewers. Thanks for your support. And today I have an amazing guest who is going to be talking all about her inspirational journey through helping women, to be able to transform them, because she's a transformational coach. And she's going to be sharing quite a lot of great strategies, great tips to be able to help you to become, your unique, authentic self. And so we're going to be covering quite a lot of wide topic today. So stay tuned. And so just to let you know about my guest, the wonderful and the beautiful Jenai K. She is actually a great transformational coach, and she teaches high achieving women on how to own their own serenity, sensuality, and soul. She has over 20 years of education and experience in coaching and also counseling. She really believes that women tend to have more healthy, happy, and wonderful, harmonious lives when they learn the art of sensuous women. So today she's going to be telling us all about how we can actually, connect with our own feminine essence, how we can actually, be women who can actually achieve high great skills as well. So welcome today, the wonderful Jenai K. She's the creator of Jenai K, which is a feminine lifestyle boutique that actually takes a holistic approach to personal development, beauty, wellness, body, spirit, and mind. And she offers great coaching program as well as one-to-one group retreats, VIP days, and so many great wellness experience. So, ladies and gentlemen, welcome the beautiful queen herself, the wonderful Jenai K. Nice to see you. A real pleasure to see you.
Hello, hello. It is a pleasure. Yeah, so happy to be here. Thank you so much for having me.
You are truly welcome. Thank you so much. It's really great to see you. So, just tell us where in the world you are being interviewed from right now.
Yeah, so I am actually in the United States, in the state of Virginia, and I am located in the state of Virginia Beach.
Fantastic. That's awesome. So what is the weather like over there? Is it sunny? Is it cold? What is it like over there?
Today is sunny. It's a little cool. The weekend was warm and beautiful.
Yeah,
Today it seems like it wants to go back to fall or winter, but it's sunny and bright.
fantastic. Brilliant. So good to have you on the show. I really just want to get stuck in. Tell us about yourself. Tell us about, what inspired you to actually start your business.
Yes, yes. So, as you mentioned earlier, I do have a very background in counseling and more specifically mental health for about 20 years.
Mm,
And one of the things that always bothered me was that while they said they took a holistic approach to serving clients, to me, it was never really holistic. And I always felt like there was something missing. So while I did enjoy supporting people and serving them in the highest way possible, I
mm,
felt like I was being required to eliminate parts of myself and parts of them that could have supported them on their journey. And so, more personally, in about 2018, which it started probably about 5 years before that, I would say I started to embark upon my own spiritual journey, one of
mm,
more enlightenment. In 2018, when I was fired from a job first time ever, it put me in a position where I had to really look at things in a different way.
yeah.
And so I started to reflect back over my life, over the things that in times where I felt the most stress or anxiety or overwhelm or fear, I realized that the things that really supported me was not really geared in the way that had been taught. We had
Mm,
been taught in mental health to focus more on diagnosing people, and everything was more so just in the mind. But I started to experience that the true healing was a mind, body, and soul experience. And so my own personal journey of spiritual growth and development pretty much awakened me to the opportunity to what was really available to myself,
mm,
and knowing that as women, we are whole. We are not separated. So the things that we once thought needed to be separated, like our sensual self or our spiritual self or our
yeah,
emotional self, is the integration of all of those parts that makes us whole and really embarks upon true transformation and healing. So my own journey is with me here. And I've always had a love for all things feminine, all things
yeah.
glam, but all things holistic, all things wellness. And so this opportunity allowed me to pretty much integrate all of the things that I'm passionate about and to share them with others.
Absolutely. Did you have any kind of setbacks, from the beginning of your business? Any kind of, did you encounter any kind of challenges? Because, it's very tough sometimes when you are starting your own business. Sometimes you kind of lose the vision. But, how did you um, work on those areas if you did experience them, if you didn't encounter any challenges along the way?
Definitely. I'll say that the challenges have been more so my own personal evolution. I've had a
Yeah,
business coach for years. And when I first started into the business realm, I was focused on event planning and design because that's definitely another passion that I have. And because
right.
my love and desire for creating beautiful experiences for people,
Mm,
it started there. But I felt like I was still running from something. And at that time, I felt as though I was running from my true calling, which was still
mm,
to serve. And so, really, the challenges were me,
yeah.
even how they say sometimes get your own way. But I look at it as more as the evolution of myself, which was necessary because it allowed me to see how I could integrate all of my passions and all of my gifts and all my talents in this space that I'm in now.
Mm, absolutely. Tell us about the Jenai K experience. What is that, and what does it feel like for women who come to your circle? And what do you offer them?
Right, right. So, one of the things that I've always said, which is why I said earlier that it really has been beautiful that I could integrate all of who I am. One of the
Mm,
things that I always enjoyed about doing the event planning and the design portion was creating beautiful experiences for people. So that
yeah.
has never left me. And so as I evolve into this more transformational coaching space, I realized that that's still true. Creating beautiful experiences for people, but also
Mm,
teaching them how to create beautiful experiences for themselves. And
yeah.
so my services do involve one-on-one coaching, group
Mm,
retreats or coaching, one-on-one VIP days, sensual flow movement classes, and I've also done some really unique feminine wellness experiences.
brilliant, fantastic. So tell us more about, when it comes to sensuality, when it comes to soul, how do you actually help women to actually own that's all essence?
So when you consider owning something, that means
Mm,
that you are taking responsibility for, that you are claiming as yours. And I will
yeah,
also like to add that you are being intentional about, right? So, being intentional about something is making it a priority in your life. So, when you consider serenity and think about what words in your mind go with that, what parts of your life do you desire more serenity? When you think about soul, what does that mean for you? Where does that lie within your body? What comes up for you when you hear that word? And the word sensuality in particular, in my opinion, is kind of the hub for all of this. When you consider
Mm.
the word sensuality, I look at it as the way you experience the world through sight, sound,
Yes.
smell, taste, touch, and intuition or spirit, but also how people experience you in those ways. So the way you show
Absolutely.
up each day, what type of energy are you bringing to the spaces that you're in? What do people
Yeah.
feel from you? When they see you, what
Mm.
do they experience from you? And so it's the way you kind of move through the world, right?
Yeah.
And so moving through the world in that space is really, really connected to our feminine essence. And
Right.
our feminine essence is really about our softness, our
Mm.
sweetness, our tenderness, our vulnerability, and the willingness to be vulnerable, our fluidity, and how we allow ourselves to flow into that space in our everyday lives.
Mm.
And when a woman
Absolutely.
does those things
Yeah.
magically begin to change.
Incredible. That is really awesome. So, how can a woman actually connect to her feminine essence? And,
Mhm.
why is it so important for women, especially, eye achieving women, to really connect to their feminine essence?
Right. So
Yeah.
as I mentioned a few minutes ago, connecting to
Mm.
that softer, that
Mm.
more tender part of yourself, and being okay with that. And it's
Yeah.
important for high achieving women in particular because a lot of times those women are really operating in what some may say masculine energy, or another word with that would be yang energy. So kind of like outward, on the go, um, always in the head space, right? And a lot of times, high achieving women are connected to their position of power or their
Right.
titles or what they perceive to be as important in those spaces, whether it's being in competitive zones with men or feeling they need to prove something or protect something. And so
Yeah.
it's even more important for those women because when we operate in that energy on a frequent, consistent basis, then it starts to bring in more burnout, more
Yeah.
overwhelm, anxiety, depression, insomnia, and to be a little bit more intimate, sometimes physical issues for women such as vaginal dryness, lack of
Yeah.
libido, things that women really do need and are important for us. Those things can start to show up when we're operating in that space on a consistent basis.
Hmm. Definitely. I think you've touched on some really great points there, because women, we do have quite a lot of different areas that we definitely need to get that sort of connection with ourselves and our body, which is great. So, can you explain the connection between femininity and wellness? Because sometimes some people may just not understand what both of them mean.
Yes, yes. So the
Mm.
connection between femininity and wellness is your femininity really is your wellness. And I say
Mm.
that because for women, there are certain times of the month that we are designed and better suited to do certain things. So if you've ever
Right.
noticed that there are certain times of the month where your energy level is really low, or
Yes.
your creativity is not as what it would have been maybe a couple of weeks ago, there's a
Hmm.
reason for that. And so when you start to operate in your femininity and
Yeah.
learn the flow and your own unique rhythm cycle and how you operate and how you move, you're able to create your life and your business around that. And so that in turn supports your overall wellness, our physical wellness and our beauty, our emotional and our physical wellness, our social, our family, our relational wellness, our spiritual wellness. There is no separation. All of it flows together. And so when you learn to work within your unique rhythm and flow, which is a big, big part of being a feminine woman, then your
Yeah.
wellness is whole.
Absolutely. Thank you so much for that. I mean, in your opinion, how important do you think self-care is for women, especially women who are very busy and, they work a lot and they're running their own business? How important is self-care really to women?
Right, right. So self-care is important, right? Because self-care really is a form of self-love.
Yeah.
And as I was saying before, all goes together. So for women, when you are dealing with your business, your family, your relationships, you want to be able to be your best self. But of course, we all know that in order to do that, we have to already be full. And
Yeah.
so I like to talk about it from a perspective of sensual self-care. Self-care as a word is used quite often and
Mm-hmm.
sometimes misused in some spaces. But to go on a deeper level, because at this season, women are really desiring and yearning for more deep, nourishing, and soul level
Yeah.
connection to themselves,
Mm-hmm.
connection to others, because
Yeah.
as feminine women, we thrive off of connection, right? And so
Absolutely.
self care is a great time for us to really explore that connection with self, which
Mm.
then goes out to those that we love. And so there are 7 secrets to sensual self care. And I won't share all today, but a
Yeah.
couple of those are slowing down. And I know that a lot of us have slowed down, or so we thought, because of the pandemic. But then we
Yeah.
started to speed up in other ways, because people were so anxious and fearful because of that. Then they started to put their attention into another frame of mind. So though they may
Mm.
not be leaving the house as much or running around in their communities, online they started to kind of amp up things, right? So slowing down is one experience, but not just slowing down, but taking the time to really, really engage with your body. And so
Yeah.
when you take the time to enhance, so that's another secret, enhancing your day to day activities. So think about something that you do every day in a way that you can enhance that. And so I give you an example. Most people shower daily
Yeah.
in some form of fashion. So just
Mm-hmm.
imagine how you can make that a more sensual experience, more meaningful. So I use the example of when you're in the shower, just be really mindful about the way that the water is trickling down your body. And so use that as an opportunity to realize any stress, any worry, or
Yeah.
anxiety leaving you. Right? And so then while you're in the shower, once you visualize the water to trickle down your body and to kind of leave, you then start to refill your body by speaking positive affirmations over yourself. And that's just one way to enhance something as simple as a daily shower, right? Or even when you pick out your clothes, pick out clothing that is soft to the skin, or that when you
Right.
put it on your body and when you move, it fits your hips a certain way, or you can feel the fabric brush against you. You can feel the poeticness of how you flowing. And sometimes
Mm.
it's just very simple daily tasks that can enhance our sensuality and can enhance our radiance that enhances our self-care.
Indeed. I love what you said about affirmations and, obviously pampering yourself and looking after yourself, doing the most simplest thing, which is, taking a shower and allowing the water to really kind of go through your body very nicely and just taking your time, even if you wanted to kind of sing and just really reflect on, what you're going to be doing for the day. And, I mean, I love affirmations. I think they are very great. And it's a way to actually start your day in a positive manner, isn't it? Affirming your day and making sure that, you are positive and optimistic about the things that you're going to be doing for that day. So I totally do agree with those tips. Thank you so much. Let's talk about wellness just a little bit more. What tips and strategies can you actually share with our listeners of how they can actually implement simple tools when it comes to wellness, looking after themselves?
And so I think it goes back to what I said before.
Yeah.
You really want to make everything that you do intentional. Find ways to make everything more pleasurable around you.
Yeah.
Another thing that you can do is for more emotional and mental wellness is to actually start practicing saying what you're feeling. So in your
Mm,
body. So what I've noticed is that women a lot of times in particular, if someone asks them, how are you doing? Or how are you feeling? The general response is to say, oh, I'm fine, or I'm okay. But
yeah.
to become more of a feminine and sensual woman, that means really tapping in and going in. And so say things like what you're really feeling. Maybe you're feeling sad. So you may say, well, you know what? I'm kind of feeling soft and tender today. But this may be a day that you're feeling, absolutely amazing. So you may say, oh, well, I'm feeling very luscious and vivacious today. That really embarks upon our emotional wellness because it allows us to speak using our
Yeah.
voice and being authentic and allowing people to kind of connect with us in a deeper way because we've already connected in that way with ourselves. We're no longer
Mm,
stuffing down emotions, we're releasing them and being truthful about them. And that is so,
mm,
so important for our wellness. And of course, I love the idea of being connected to our creativity. For me,
yeah.
music and movement is so important. As you said
Mm,
earlier, I teach sensual flow movement classes, which really are a combination of one of my favorites, belly dance, and just teaching women how to be more connected to their bodies and to move and enjoy themselves because pleasure really is a form of wellness. Wellness
yeah.
doesn't have to be as deep as people make it out to be, or it doesn't have to be so rigid. For women, it's about the fluidity. And so
Mm,
sometimes just as simple as getting up, turning on some music, and allowing yourself to be taken by those experiences. And another one in particular is sacred rest, knowing when to rest. And so
yeah.
I can remember a time a few months ago where I was just feeling a need for a really deep connection, but also some rest. And so I decided to go outside because the sun has very healing powers. And I took a blanket outside, I laid it under the tree, I brought my phone with me, I listened to a really soulful program on YouTube, and I just
Mm.
soaked in the sun and I just rested. And I just allowed myself to be at one with nature and at one with myself.
I love that. That is really, really great. Sometimes it's just about the most simplest thing, isn't it? And thank you so much for sharing those tips. And I just wanted to know more about the feminine love language. If you can actually tell us a little bit more about what that is, feminine love language.
Yes, 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 yes. So the feminine love language encompasses a few things. Um,
Yeah.
I'm not sure how many of you are familiar with the five love languages. Well, the five
Hmm.
love languages was a book written by a man named Gary Chapman. And he
Yeah.
says that we all have about one or two primary love languages, but there are five in total. And those are words of affirmation, physical touch, acts of service,
Mm.
gifts, and the other one escapes me at the moment.
Yeah.
And so, in my opinion, the feminine love language encompasses all of those things. And the reason being is because as women, we really need to start practicing receiving, learning how to receive in a different way, learning how to
Yeah.
receive in a deeper way. So when someone says to you, oh my gosh, Hannah, you look absolutely beautiful today, receive it. Receive it and not just say, oh, thank you, but really receive it, meaning feel it, right?
Yeah.
Or if someone offers you a gift, just relish in it. Relish in it because the relishing in it for you then becomes a gift to the world. So the feminine love language is about receiving and then it's about giving. Because the more you receive, then the more you are able to give, right?
Mm.
And it's also about from a sensual perspective, cultivating. So cultivating your the way you're showing up in the world. as feminine women, we are expressions of so many different things. And so my way of expressing beauty may be different from yours, but I still show up in that daily, right? So it's about receiving, it's about giving, and it's about expressing.
Absolutely, indeed. I really love that. So it's all about giving and also receiving. That's really important. You mentioned about the five love languages as well, which is really great. And these are wonderful tips that our viewers will definitely take away from today's podcast. So that's really awesome. So, how can people actually reach you and connect with you?
Yes, yes. So my website is byjenaik.com, and that's byjenaik.com. You can also reach me and email me at janaik@byjenaik.com. And you can find me on LinkedIn, on Instagram, and on Facebook at By Jenai K. I think in LinkedIn I'm at Jenai K. On Facebook you find me on my personal page at Jenai K Williams, and my business page is By Jenai K. And on Instagram my business page is By Jenai K.
Brilliant. I'll be leaving those links in the description bar below so that our, audience can actually get in touch with you. Tell us about any upcoming events you have coming up or any offers that you actually have at the moment.
Yes, yes. And so I'll make sure that your viewers have this. But if anybody who has tuned in today is interested, I am offering a gift of a 15-minute complimentary consultation where we can take
Great.
the conversation a little bit further and support
Mhm.
you in owning your serenity, your sensuality, and your soul.
That sounds really awesome. Thank you so much for that. Just wanted to know if you have any words of inspiration for our listeners who are, thinking about maybe, starting a business, or maybe starting a project and they're feeling a little bit overwhelmed and a bit burnt out and not really sure. What advice would you give them?
Right. So my advice would be to keep going. And that is something that I have to tell myself on a regular basis because
Mm,
we're all guilty of it. We're all guilty of feeling at times lost, uncertain,
mhm.
feeling as
Yeah,
though, are we really doing this? Is this really what I'm supposed to be doing? And
yeah,
so I would just say keep going, especially if you have this burning desire inside of you. And that goes back to
mm,
the connection to soul and spirit. When you receive a certain download or the birth of vision, as your show states, it
yeah,
comes from within, but it comes from up here and down here. So you know that it's for you. And so just relaxing into the experience of it, that's a big part, especially for women, and to stay in tune to your femininity. Relax
yeah,
into the experience and surrender to the experience, but just keep going. Keep going.
absolutely. I
And I
love that.
also
So,
recommend that people get mentors and support because having a mentor and support, whether that's for a business coach, very great and imperative, but also who can support you in the other side and the self-care side, or the side
mm,
where you're not burning yourself out. That's important as well.
indeed, I definitely concur with what you've just said. And, just lastly, I just wanted to know, how have you been able to kind of, continuously show up and be visible to your audience?
Well, one of the things that I have been intentional, so it's back to the word
Yeah.
intentional about making connections people. Because sometimes social media for me has felt overwhelming in some ways. And so I had to go back to what I know. I love talking to people, I love meeting people, and I love making connections. Because, again, as I said, when you are connected to your feminine essence, and as women, we really desire connection. And sometimes we can kind of get lost behind the screen. And so the way that you and I met from that similar experience, reaching out
Yes.
to people, asking for conversations, and getting to know people beyond just the pictures that you see on social media. That
Yeah.
allows you to then, in turn, be more inspired to be visible because you're not just feeling as though you're just out there on your own.
Most definitely. What has been your biggest win in business to date? What has that been, if you want to share that with us?
Wow. I think these types of experiences are winning for me.
Yeah. Hmm.
It's an honor for me really to show up in these spaces on these different platforms and have an opportunity to speak to your listeners and those of others. It really is winning, or as I say, blooming. This is my birthday month, and I was given the opportunity to speak on a summit on Clubhouse last weekend, and today
Great.
I'm here with you. And I consider that all blessings in the month of April. Spring is here, spring is in the air. And to me, that is definitely winning.
Fantastic. And you have definitely won. You've definitely shared so many great tips and strategies here today. And I'm sure a lot of our listeners will be able to connect with you. Thank you so much. It's a real pleasure to have you on the live podcast show. Thanks for coming on and sharing those amazing nuggets. It's really, really great. So, to all our wonderful listeners, thank you once again for joining us today to listen to my amazing guest, and leave your comments and any form of questions in the comment section, and I'll be able to answer you. So I've left my guest wonderful email and contacts on the comment section, so do feel free to actually get in touch. And she's offering a great opportunity for 15 minutes consultation, and so I would definitely jump on that. So until next time, I want to say thank you to everyone. Thank you to my wonderful guest. Great to see you. Thanks for coming on today. And I'll be joining you next week with another amazing inspirational woman in business who will be sharing her story. And, it's all about helping women to amplify their voice, to be seen and to be heard and to be visible as well. So thank you so much for jumping on today. I'll see you all next week. Take care. Have a great
Yeah.
evening. Thank you.